wait. It's odd numbers. Can't hardly beat a good wire antenna.
We all take a fancy to whatever we're using it, as long as it's receiving good and you're being heard out there. W4SF.
W4 reader.
Sound like a good time. Looks like a good time for me. It's the witching hour. So good night, everybody. Talk to y'all tomorrow night. Going to bed. KM4FKY. Good night, Frank. Hi, Frank. Good night, Frank. QCARS.
Night, Frank.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
Did you say you're doing about 500 watts?
About 550.
Sound like you're running 2 kW over there.
Come on. Well, that makes me happy.
Hey, too many T's. Yes, sir. Well, I come, my double bazooka will work on 40, 20, 15, and 10. Because it's not a normal type dipole. You got, if you looked at the coax part, it's like a folded dipole and with wire ends on the end. So it's different. All right, Frank's got the same antenna, but his won't do it. Oh, I don't know. There's several configurations of a double bazooka. One way is a single piece of coax, like you're saying, fed with, say, the shield, and the center's complete, and then the ends are tied together, and then extra wire on the end. Some have an extra wire in the middle where it's like, say, three, looks like three. It would look like 3 wires in the middle with a coax instead of just 2. All right, I've heard you say this, and it came in a brochure with the antenna. It said when you put the coax up, you make sure it's going to center the 2 legs. You don't want it favoring one leg. Isn't that correct? Yeah. All right. Well, mine is not mounted that way. My coax comes out the house, goes up 20 feet, then goes up 60 feet, then goes out to 70 feet into a sycamore tree 175 feet away. I pulled the coax down on the other side of the sycamore tree, put the double bazooka on it, and pulled it back up. Of course, I had a paracord on the coax, too. And the coax is actually 7 or 8 feet higher than the antenna, and it's higher than the antenna all the way back to the house 175 feet away. So would that have something to do with the way it works? Not really, no. No matter if it's fed at the top or the bottom. What they're telling you is don't have the coax favoring one side more than the other extremely, or else you wind up getting RF in a check. Well, that's what I'm saying. When they tell you that, then it means that has an effect on the antenna. Whether you put it left or right, favoring one leg. But my coax is higher than the whole antenna. The antenna goes up and hooks to the coax instead of going up between your legs like y'all put it up. Yeah, but it ain't when you're coming back down, it ain't favoring one side, is it? No, because it's not nowhere near. It's higher than the whole antenna. The feed point is
is 6 feet below my coax.
Well, it depends the way you're looking at it. If you were out, say you were burning the sky, sitting there still, and you looked at it, it don't matter if you're feeding the top or bottom, but if you looked at it from, say, the top, because, you know, with the way you're explaining, long as the coax is still equidistant between the two legs, you're okay. If you ran it, even though it's at the top, if you ran it almost parallel with one leg, that would not be good.
All right, then it is. It's not even because my coax goes straight out south of my jack, and there's one leg, the hot leg on the double bazooka is coming back to the southeast, which is closest to the coax. The other's going southwest, the farthest away from the coax, so it's favoring one leg.
Well, you're lucky. I can tell you, you're lucky.
I created a monster.
Well,
I didn't know that, Tommy. I just happened to get over this amp. It automatically it changes band when I change on the radio, and sometimes I forget that I got to change that coax switch if I'm going to go from 20 measures to 15 and put it on that end fan. And I forgot to do it. And I was talking to a guy on 20 meters, and he asked me what antenna I was using. I said, holy crap, I'm on that double bazooka.
well, if it's to the extreme where, like you said, the one leg is going way away from the coax, so in other words, then that coax ain't even seeing any of that other leg, then that could be why you're not, because if you had it differently where you're still picking up from each side, but one side is picking up more than each side, when they try to cancel you, when they cancel out, you're going to have something left over. But if there's no, it's only receiving signal from one side, so and then it cancels. So you're, you know, that's an odd. It's an oddball thing that it's okay.
Well, I figured maybe it had something with the length of coax I'm using, and the fact that it's it's not double shield, it's triple shield really, and it's got 26 strands 2 times where the normal coax has got 16, and I just figured that may have something to do with it too.
No, that don't. You know, we think of a shield as a shield, but that's like it's actually like it acts like 3 wires. You got to send a lead. You got the shield, the inside part of it, and then the skin of the shield acts as two. So, but he just came out lucky.
Yeah, it's a little droopy, and I need to straighten it up. I'm afraid to. It works so good.
Yeah, no, Monday I'll leave it alone. That's why most the causes of having RF in the shack is because of what I was saying, the way the antenna is configured and in your transmission line, and that's what happens when you know the antenna radiates and the feed line is sitting in your yard there near it. And you got radiation, and the feed line is going to be picking up some of that radiation. But if both sides are seeing pretty close to the same amount, that means their high and lows are at the same point, and they're going to, but at opposite polarity at one point in time. One side will be positive, the other side negative, and then they switch. But so if one's positive, one's negative, they cancel each other, and you have nothing there. But if it's favoring one side, you're gonna have them sine waves are gonna be high and low at different points on the line. So when they cancel, there's gonna be some left over, and what's left over is RF in a shack.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly what the SWR is on 20, 40, and 80 or 15, but because I know my amp, it won't kick off unless the two 2 SWR, and it doesn't kick off when I get on the other bands on the bazooka, except on 10 meters. But then if I take and kick the amp on standby and tune the bazooka with the tuner and the radio, it bring it down to 1-to-1.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, it depends how that this different configuration double bazooka, so depends which one you got, and I guess which normally they consider the mono band, but if I could see where they could work two bands if I got a certain way, like I'm saying. One way is just regular piece of coax in the middle, set by the shield, and then the ends you got more, and then some have the coax plus another wire in the middle, and then the end. So in other words, instead of looking just like 2 wires in the middle, you got 3 wires in the middle.
What's the third wire for?
Yeah, it makes more broadband, and it changes the impedance too.
It just got more shielding on that style.
That's interesting. Let me ask a question. I ran this the other night out to the group. Boss, I want to take my number 12 wire down, okay? Okay, we get X amount of feet up there in the sky, and I want to put RG58 with the shield, skinny coax, mobile coax I used to call it, and use that instead of number 12 wire and put the center conductor and the shield together on the wire. And I don't care about the dielectrics cooking or melting down. I put 1500 watts on it. Would that work and give me any benefit of a little bit more broader band on frequency, even if it's 10 or 15 kc up from a dip? Because I'm flat lying down on 3700 flat right now. If I put the RG58 instead of the 12 gauge wire, center the conductor and the shield together, feed them at the feed point, what do you think?
Yeah, you'll get more, it'll probably wind up where it'll be a bit shorter in length, but it'll make it more wide banded because you have more between the 2 wires, the shield, actually between 3 things, between the center, the dielectrics, and the shield, that winds up making a lot fatter antenna, but it winds up being shorter too.
Oh, well, when you say shorter, then if it's flat at 3700, it may be flat at 3750, but the shorter you go up higher in frequency, right?
Well, no, I meant for at the same, looking at the same frequency, you could be shorter. Because you had more wire and it's fatter. I'll give you an example. I made a little quarter wave for 2 meters, which a quarter wave usually say 19 inches, 19 and a quarter. Well, I made a little quarter wave at a coax, and same thing, with the end hooked together, and set the middle. Well, it wound up being 18 inches instead of 19 and a quarter. So if you make it fatter, it's going to wind up being shorter.
Well, the reason I wouldn't use mini 8, I would love to, but I got to pull that up there. If I'm pulling up 200 feet of mini 8, it's a lot on the pulley up there in the sky. But the RG58, shield it and conductor it and twist them together, short them out, and run that, and for that from the feed point all the way out. I'd like to try it. I might be throwing the money in the wind, but I probably won't even achieve anything. I don't think it would suffer at the feet. But people said, well, if you're running 1500 watts, it'll break down. That wire's not going to take it, that coax. I could understand that feed point going up to feed the antenna, but just using it as elements, as a wire, radiate, I don't think that it would matter if the dielectrics breaks down. What's going to break down? I don't know. What is the gauge on on that RG, what is it, RGU? 58, with the center conductor, is it about 14 gauge?
Yeah, well, to me, you're better off, I told you this before, I think. It'd be lighter and probably cheaper. Just run another dipole, close to the length you got, or, and then, then that'll give you more, and hook it to the same feed point, and that'll give you more bandwidth.
So what you're saying, Tom? In other words, instead of a single leg each out from the apex going out, run 2 wires, and that's just double your wires up there.
Yeah, but having different lengths. The different lengths, it'll make them more widebanded, because when you move around, it's going to like one wire length better than the other. If you wanted to go down more in frequency and stay where you're at, you would make each other one longer. If you want to go up in frequency and then stay where you're at, you make them the other pair shorter. So if you're happy where it's at resonant now, and you want to have it more up here better, so you don't have to be higher, then make them 2 wires shorter than they are now. So it'd be like making a dipole for here.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Can you tune, Sal, can you tune that antenna up on 160?
I don't think I've ever tried it, Henry.
Mine won't, but I know why. It's the shielded leg of the wire. I ran a black wire and a red wire. Red is center of the conductor, center conductor, and the black is the shield. And no capacitors, no resistors, nothing. But the black wire only runs out about 35 feet, something like that, and then folds back. The way it's folded back is it's just going across the limb, and I'm pulling it back towards the house. It does leave a pretty nice V in there. It's not touching the wires or nothing, and that's what I'm running for an antenna. So what I'm thinking about the coax idea, RG58AU has multi-strand center conductor. That would be about 18 to 20 gauge wire. The RG59U, which is so-called cable coax, for the cable TV and all that, is 75 ohm. You'd be able to run that stuff as well, but it would be a little more difficult to keep the wire attached to the center conductor, because it's solid core.
I appreciate that. 59U, that's the 75. They use that for the cable. That's for cable coax. Is that the skinny? Is the 58?
The RG58AU. The AU is a multi-strand center conductor. The RG58U is the solid conductor inside the small coax, like what you just said a little while ago, the mobile coax. A KC8ARS.
W4SAL, very good.
So figure, what I'm saying, everybody's familiar with the term, I'm losing it there, a fan dipole, right? I mean, we think of a fan dipole, a set of dipoles for each band tied together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, what's the difference between having a fan dipole for one band? because this band, like I'm saying, from top to bottom for a quarter wave, or half wave, both sides, the difference in the halfway from top to bottom is 15 feet.